Hi everybody, welcome back to Lions and Warriors Return to Forever. I'm Emily Orchid and we are reading Daniel today, chapter 7. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, and Belshazzar is Nebuchadnezzar's son, so he took Nebuchadnezzar's place as king. In the first year of Belshazzar, king of Babylon, Daniel had a dream and visions of his head upon his bed. Then he wrote the dream and told the sum of the matters. Daniel spoke and said, I saw in my vision by night, and behold, the four winds of the heavens strove upon the great sea, and four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. I've heard a lot of interpretations of what these beasts are, like they represent countries, but this is talking about the end time. This isn't current Babylon back when Daniel was writing this. It's the future. It's pertaining to the end of this earth age, which I think that we're on the verge of. So anyway, I've heard that the leopard represents China. I've heard the lion represents England, and then the lion breaking off from England and becoming America. And the bear representing Russia. So I don't know if that's true. I've kind of read in the margin here of my Bullinger's King James Version Companion Bible, and it's not speculating on what these things are, so we're just gonna take it as it is, and maybe it'll reveal itself more as we read. But these beasts symbolize things going on in the end time. So here we go. Daniel and his dream. And four great beasts came up from the sea, diverse one from another. The first was like a lion and had eagle's wings. Think of lions, England, eagle wings, America. I don't know, maybe. I beheld till the wings thereof were plucked. The wings were pulled off of this lion, and it was lifted up from the earth and made stand upon the feet as a man, and a man's heart was given to it. And behold, another beast, a second, like to a bear, and it raised up itself on one side, and it had 3 ribs in the mouth of it, between the teeth of it. And they said thus unto it, Arise, devour much flesh. After this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. So these are like trans animals. The lion being like a transhuman, with standing up like a man. The leopard having wings. The bear. What did they say here? Well, the bear was told to arise and devour much flesh. Okay, after this I beheld, and lo, another like a leopard, which had upon the back of it 4 wings of a fowl. The beast had also 4 heads, and dominion was given to it. Power was given to the leopard. After this I saw in the night visions, and behold, a 4th beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth, it devoured and broke in pieces, and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it, and it had 10 horns. And I've heard that the 10 horns may represent 10 kingdoms or 10 kings. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked out by the roots. So it sounds like the little horn replaced the area where there were 3 horns that were plucked out by the roots. And behold, in this horn were eyes like the eyes of man, and a mouth speaking great things. I beheld till the thrones are something kings sit on. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, and his wheel as burning fire. So let me look here. What does it say about the Ancient of Days here? Thrones are seats for judgment. The Ancient of Days, the everlasting one. So that's God. So he's seen the Ancient of Days, which is the everlasting one, which is God. And when we've heard Jesus described, he had hair that was white as pure wool. So he's seen that, and his wheels as burning fire. And when we had read before in Ezekiel, we know that there were wheels in this great sapphire throne that God sits in, that he moves around the universe or anywhere he wants to go. So we know that Jesus is going to be in the battle at Armageddon, so maybe with the beast and the beast system at the end of this age. So this is probably what he's seeing. So I'll repeat verse 9 again here. I beheld till the thrones were cast down, the thrones, the seats of judgment, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and the hair of his head like the pure wool. His throne was like the fiery flame, which was what Ezekiel described, that there was fire all around God's throne, and from the waist up he was like shining amber, and from the waist down God is all fire. So this is similar. Daniel's visions are similar to what Ezekiel saw several times. Ezekiel saw God, and his wheels as burning fire. In a fiery stream issued and came forth from before him, which is God, capitalized him. Thousands ministered unto him, God, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. So these are the books that all the people that have ever lived are in. I beheld then, because of the voice of the great words which the horns spake. I beheld even till the beast was slain, and his body destroyed and given to the burning flame. As concerning the rest of the beasts, they had their dominion taken away, yet their lives were prolonged for a season and time. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man. We know the Son of Man is Jesus. I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of heaven, and came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him, God, near before him. So I guess this is Jesus and God coming together. And there was given him, God or Jesus, dominion and glory and a kingdom, and all people, nations, and languages should serve him. His dominion is an everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that which shall not be destroyed. So we're hearing it again here that God's his kingdom is eternal. Daniel was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my Daniel was grieved in my spirit in the midst of my body, and the visions of my head troubled me. I came near unto one of them that stood by, and asked him the truth of all this. So he told me, and made me know the interpretation of the things. So maybe he's talking to an angel here. These great beasts, which are four kings, which shall arise out of the earth. But the saints of the Most High, which is God and Jesus, shall take the kingdom and possess the kingdom forever, even forever and ever. So he's telling us the saints are going to be in the kingdom with Jesus and God forever and ever. Then, Daniel speaking, then I would know the truth of the fourth beast, which was diverse from all the others, exceeding dreadful, whose teeth were of iron, and his nails of brass, which devoured, brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with his feet. And I think the residue is referring to that which is evil. And he's stamping it with his feet. This fourth beast with the iron teeth. Okay, all right. And of the 10 horns that were in his head, and of the other which came up, that little horn that came up among the 3, and before him 3 fell, even of that horn that had eyes and a mouth that spake very great things, whose look was more stout, shorter as stout, than his fellows. I beheld, and the same horn made war with the saints. So this could be the Antichrist making war with the saints, and prevailed against them until the Ancient of Days came, which we know is God or Jesus. And judgment was given to the saints of the Most High. And the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom. So we know they were judged, but it was all obviously good for the saints when they were judged, because the time came that the saints possessed the kingdom, which is the everlasting kingdom. Thus he said, I guess the angel, or probably an angel speaking to Daniel, thus he said, the fourth beast shall be the fourth kingdom upon earth, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, and shall devour the whole earth, and shall tread it down and break it in pieces. So if this is the fourth kingdom, which shall be diverse from all kingdoms, is this maybe the new world order that he's describing? And the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall arise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. So this is maybe the Antichrist who takes over these 10 final kings, which maybe these 10 final kings are the new world order. I'm speculating. And he shall speak great words against the Most High. So that's got to be the Antichrist. He shall speak great things against the Most High, which is capitalized. We know that's God. And shall wear out the saints of the Most High, and think to change times and laws. And they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. Does it say what that means here? Times and times. And in the margin it says 3.5 years, 1/2 of the 1 week. It is repeated as 42 months and as 1260 days in Revelations 11. So I guess that's just, is described as 1260 days in Revelation, and also 42 months in Revelation, and 1/2 of the 1 week of Daniel, 3.5 years. But I think we read in Revelations that time is going to be cut short, and I think it's cut down to 5 months. That last, the time of when the Antichrist comes on the scene will be, I think, 5 months. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion. The judgment is not capitalized. So is the judgment the Antichrist? Let me see here. And shall sit. It doesn't say who the judgment is. But the judgment shall sit, and they shall take away his dominion, to consume and to destroy it unto the end. And the kingdom and dominion and the greatness of the kingdom under the whole heaven shall be given to the people of the saints. And people is capitalized here. People of the saints of the Most High. The kingdom will be given to the people of the saints of the Most High, whose kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and all dominions shall serve and obey him. Capitalized. So it's God. It's Jesus. Hitherto is the end of the matter. And for me, Daniel, my cogitations much troubled me. And let's see what a cogitation is. That baffled me. My cogitations, maybe that's like cognition is thoughts, so maybe cogitations are thoughts. Much troubled me, and my countenance changed in me. But I kept the matter in my heart. Now this is chapter 8. In the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision. So this vision was during the 1st year of Belshazzar. So now in the 8th chapter, we're in the 3rd year of the reign of King Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass when I saw that I was at Shushan. Does it say where Shushan is? The chief, Shushan is the chief city of Persia, and we know that Persia is now Iran. And Daniel's still in captivity in Babylon, and Babylon is not there, just the ruins of it, but that's about 50 or 70 miles away from the city of Baghdad. And Baghdad is, oh, I can't believe it. I think Baghdad's in Iraq, but he's referring to Iran. Okay, in the 3rd year of the reign of the king of Belshazzar, a vision appeared unto me, even unto me, Daniel, after that which appeared unto me at the first. And I saw in a vision, and it came to pass, when I saw that I was at Shushan in the palace, the great city in Persia at the time, which is in the province of Elam, and I saw, does it say what Elam is? Oh, I'm not seeing it here. Okay. Doesn't say where Elam is, which is in the province of Elam. Okay, so it's saying Shushan, the city's in the province, or like the state of Elam. And I saw in a vision, and I was by the river of Ulai, or Ulai. Then I lifted up mine eyes and saw, and behold, there stood before the river a ram, which had 2 horns, and the 2 horns were high, but one was higher than the other, and the other came up at last. I saw the ram pushing westward and northward and southward, so that no beasts might stand before him, neither was there any that could be delivered out of his hand, but he did according to his will, and became great. And I was considering, behold, and a he-goat came out from the west on the face of the whole earth, and touched not the ground. And the goat had a notable horn between his eyes. And he came to the ram that had 2 horns, which I had seen standing before the river, and ran into him in the fury of his power. So the goat runs into the ram. And I saw him come close unto the ram, and he was moved with choler, or choler. Does it say what choler means here? Moved himself or strove violently with. Choler equals bile, like your gallbladder produces bile. Bile, we know, is bitter, so it symbolizes something bitter. And I saw him come close unto the ram, the goat, and he was moved with choler, violent, striking violent with bile, with choler against him, and smote the ram, and broke his 2 horns, and there was no power in the ram to stand before him. But he cast him down to the ground and stamped upon him, and there was none that could deliver the ram out of his hand, out of his power. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, referring to the great extent of Alexander's conquests, as ran refers to the rapidity of them. So is he talking about Alexander the Great, which came much later after this? Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken. So we know that the goat had one great horn, and it looks like he hit the ram so hard that he broke the horn. Therefore the he-goat waxed very great, and when he was strong, that great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven, and out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great. Waxed, drew Anglo-Saxon. Let's see. And it's referring to Anglo-Saxon, and we know that later becomes... I used to know exactly what Saxon meant. It might have to do with the northern tribes of Israel. Everything that wasn't Judah, which is where the Jews descended from. But they migrated later over the Caucasus Mountains and went into northern Europe and went west and settled into England and Germany and all that, and then later migrated to America and Canada. I think that's what it means. Anglo-Saxon. And they were white, Caucasus Mountains, Caucasian. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which waxed exceedingly great. I'll read what it says here. Little horn, where it is already shown that this name and those members belong to the still future time of the end. Waxed equals grew, Anglo-Saxon. To grow, supply. Grew and became. The south refers to Egypt, and the east refers to Babylonia and Persia, which is Iran. Pleasant land, the glory of gems, the land of Israel. Only Ezekiel and Daniel here use this term of the Holy Land, the same land as in chapter 11. That's what it says in the margin here. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven. And we know the hosts of heaven are the like the angels, the other spiritual beings that are underneath the dominion of God. That's the hosts of heaven. And they can be good or bad, evil. Okay. I'll back up to chapter 9 here. And out of one of them, I'll start at 8. Therefore the he-goat grew very great, and when he was strong, the great horn was broken, and for it came up 4 notable ones toward the 4 winds of heaven. 4 horns, I guess. And out of one of them came forth a little horn, which grew exceedingly great toward the south, which we just read was Egypt, and toward the east, which we read was Babylon and Persia, and toward the pleasant land. The pleasant land equals the land of Israel is the pleasant land. And it was it grew great, even to the host of heaven, and it cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. And I've learned, studying the Bible, that stars are actually angels. And it said in Revelation that during the tribulation that the stars are going to fall to earth. And I'm a fundamentalist, and I take the Bible very literally. So that tells me that stars are probably these angels falling to heaven, or spiritual entities, spiritual hosts, the hosts of heaven, and they're not really, they might not be these giant balls of gassy fire that science is telling us that they are, that things are not maybe what they seem, what we think. So I'm not going to argue. I'm just, keep an open mind here. Let's see. And it waxed great, even to the host of heaven, and cast down some of the host and of the stars to the ground, and stamped upon them. So this is still the goat that just trampled the ram, and now he's stomping on the stars that fell down to the ground. Yeah, he magnified himself, and he is not capitalized here, so this isn't Jesus, this isn't God. This goat is something really superior, but not the Almighty God. Yeah, he magnified himself even to the prince of the host, and prince is capitalized, so that's talking about Jesus is the capital P, prince of the host. So this, which is probably the Antichrist, he's magnifying himself even to the prince of the host. And by him, lowercase him, the daily sacrifice was taken away, and the place of his, God's sanctuary, was cast down. And we know his sanctuary is in Jerusalem, and when Jesus comes back, he's going to land in Jerusalem, and he's going to rule from Jerusalem. So at this point, we know his sanctuary that the Antichrist is going to set up, pretending to be Jesus, in the holy place where the temple, where the holy temple is. It says his sanctuary, God's sanctuary, was cast down, where the Antichrist is going to be temporarily setting up shop. And a host was given against the daily sacrifice by reason of transgression, and it cast down the truth to the ground, that it practiced and prospered. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said, and this is Daniel saying all this. Then I heard one saint speaking, and another saint said unto that certain saint which spake, How long shall be the vision concerning the daily sacrifice, and the transgression of desolation, to give both the sanctuary and the host to be trodden under foot? So one saint's asking the other, how long is this transgression of desolation going to be happening and trodden underfoot? And he said unto me, unto 2,300 days, and then shall the sanctuary be cleansed. So 2,300 days sounds like it might be the time of the Antichrist setting up shop, but we know that the day's going to be cut short to like 5 months. And it came to pass, when I, Daniel, even I, Daniel, had seen the vision and sought for the meaning, then behold, there stood before me as the appearance of a man, lowercase man. And I heard a man's voice between the banks of Uli, the river he was on, which called and said, Gabriel, make this man to understand the vision. And we know that Gabriel is one of the great archangels. So he came near where I stood. So I guess he means Gabriel came near him. So he came near where I stood, and when he came, I was afraid and fell upon my face. But he said unto me, Understand, O Son of Man, for at the time of the end shall be the vision. So he's saying this is describing the end of time, of this earth age. Now as he was speaking with me, I was in a deep sleep on my face toward the ground, but he touched me and set me upright, and he said, and this is probably still Gabriel, Behold, I will make thee know what shall be in the last end of the indignation, for at the time appointed the end shall be. And down here in the margin it says the last end. Another indication of the time of the fulfillment of the vision at the time appointed. And indignation, the time of indignation, equals the wrath of God. So it'll be at the end of this short time that the Antichrist is setting up shop and claiming to be Jesus in the temple where Jesus is eventually going to rule forever. That God's wrath is going to occur there. And Gabriel is telling Daniel that this is when it's going to happen, at the end of time. That's what your vision is about, Daniel. The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. And Media isn't there anymore, but Persia is there. Persia is Iran. So it's the ram which thou saw having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia. So we know that's the Iran area. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. I don't know who that is. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter, does it say what that is? the 4 kingdoms here have been Ptolemy's Egypt, Palestine, and some parts of Asia Minor, Cassandra's Macedonia and Greece, Syria, Armenia, and territory east of the Euphrates River. But the continuity of Alexander's dominion, which is after this time, but we are all after Alexander the Great now. But the continuity of Alexander's dominion ceased with him and will not be seen again till the little horn arises. So this is way after Alexander, but it's in these territories: Egypt, Palestine, part of Asia Minor, Macedonia, Greece. They name Bithynia, Thrace, Mysia, Syria, Armenia, and the territory east of the Euphrates. So it looks like all this area is coming up against Israel, this little tiny country of Israel. I think I heard Israel's like about the size of New Jersey. So I could be wrong. I know it's like the size of one of our states. It's tiny. So all of these the kingdoms of those areas are going to be coming up against Israel at this end time. Right when the Antichrist is there. That's what he's describing, the end time before the wrath of God kicks in. Okay. I'll back up a little. The ram which thou sawest having 2 horns are the kings of Media and Persia, and the rough goat is the king of Grecia, which is Greece. And the great horn that is between his eyes is the first king. Now that being broken, whereas 4 stood up for it, 4 kingdoms shall stand up out of the nation, but not in his power. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. So this might be the Antichrist he's talking about. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft to prosper. Let's say what? Craft, deceit. He shall deceit. So this again, could this be pertaining to the Antichrist? Because we know he's gonna be very deceitful, and people are gonna believe that he is Jesus. And through his policy also he shall cause craft, deceit, to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace, we know this is the Antichrist, shall destroy many, destroy many spiritually, because our flesh death is temporary. And you're either going to have eternal damnation, which is death, or you're going to have eternal salvation with God and Jesus and the Holy Spirit. So we know here that the Antichrist, full of deceit, is going to be here first, lying to people. And magnifying himself. And by peace, they're going to be tricked by the peace. He shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince, Jesus, capital P, prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hand. He's going to be taken down by Jesus eventually. But a lot of people are going to be deceived and destroyed by him because they're going to fall for the Antichrist. And that's why we're talking about this, because I think we're getting really close to that end time, and I don't want any of you to be deceived. The most important thing we need to remember is that this is the sixth trumpet. This is the 666, the number of the beast. 6 comes before 7, and 7 trumpet is Jesus coming down. So the first one that looks like claiming to be Jesus and looks like it's peace, don't be duped. He's going to be here first, and it's going to look like the real thing. But if we've got the word in our heart, we're not going to be deceived. We're going to know what the truth is. We're not going to be tricked. So here it is in the Bible again, and we've read this other places. We read it in Ezekiel. We read it in Revelation. We're going to read about it in the Gospel. I'm going to repeat this again. We're already at 46 minutes. And okay, starting from verse 24 of chapter 8. We're almost done with this chapter, and I'll stop the video. And his power shall be... I'll back up to 23. And in the latter time of their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up. This will be the Antichrist. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, because he's going to be backed up by Satan. Because it's like parallel to, it's like Jesus is the Son of God. Jesus is God in the flesh. The Antichrist is going to be like the son of Satan, Satan in the flesh. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own hand. And he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft, deceit to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his own heart, and by peace shall destroy many, because they're going to be duped by the peace. They're going to take that mark of the beast, which is death and eternal damnation. He shall also stand up against the prince, Jesus, the Prince of Princes. He'll stand up against him at Armageddon, but he shall be broken without hand. Jesus is going to take him down. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut them up the vision, for it shall be for many days. Let me say that again. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days. And so this will be going on for many days. The 42 months, which is actually going to be 5 months, because God's a miracle worker and he's going to shorten the time. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. After he saw this vision, he fainted and he was sick for several days. Several days? Is that what it could mean? Let's see here. 27 in the evening, in the morning. These many days, it says here, are interpreted as being 2,300 days. No one may interpret the interpretations and say they are a time, because we know, because it says in Revelation that God is shortening the time. So we know it's a lot of days. Fainted, the king's busyness. And I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. And astonished here means dumb. So he was astonished. He was dumb to the vision. He didn't know what it meant, but he's telling you what Gabriel told him, and he's telling you what he saw. So he's like, I don't know what it meant, but this is what happened. So I would say that Daniel, the prophet, who's telling us the future here, is pretty legitimate. And this was, I think, several hundred years before Jesus was even born that he prophesied that. We're already over 50 minutes. I'll just read that again real quick so you don't have to rewind your YouTube here. And the vision of the evening, this is chapter 20. I'm just going to read it from 23 because we reviewed it, and let's just let it flow here after we've discussed this. And in the latter time in their kingdom, when the transgressors are come to the full, the evil ones, a king of fierce countenance and understanding dark sentences shall stand up, the Antichrist. And his power shall be mighty, but not by his own power, and he shall destroy wonderfully, and shall prosper and practice, and shall destroy the mighty and the holy people. And through his policy also he shall cause craft, which we know is deceit, to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many. He shall also stand up against the prince of princes, but he shall be broken without hands. And the vision of the evening and the morning which was told is true. Wherefore shut thou up the vision, for it shall be for many days, either 2,600 days, or was it 2,300 days, or 5 months. It shall be for many days. And I, Daniel, fainted and was sick certain days. For days. And did the king's business, and I was astonished at the vision, but none understood it. So I just kind of droned on a while about this chapters 7 and 8 today of the book of Daniel, but this is talking about the end times. And I think our number one takeaway from today's video is that the Antichrist is going to be there first before Jesus comes back and wipes him out. And he's going to be full of deceit, and he's going to, be proclaiming peace, but he's also going to be destroying the holy people, which means he's going to be killing the true Christians. So, but that's not going to matter if we're saints, if we're Christians, and we're being killed, because he can only kill the flesh, not the spirit, not the soul. So, this earth age is just temporary. We're just passing through, And the eternal kingdom is where we're going to be. And I believe, from what we've talked about before, that following this time is going to be the 1,000-year millennial kingdom, where some people are going to be getting the opportunity to be set straight with the truth. And then after the 1,000-year millennial kingdom is the great white throne judgment. And then those that still deny God as their Father and Jesus as their Savior, that's when they will join Satan in the lake of fire, or not. They'll have eternity with Jesus and God. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me today. I think this was an especially important video. And until next time, God bless you. Have a wonderful day. I love you.